I was on Synthroid and levothyroxine, but I felt better on Synthroid. I currently take Synthroid, and my dosage is 125 micrograms Monday through Friday, and on Saturday and Sunday it's 187.5 micrograms. I felt better on Synthroid because, as my doctor explained it, levothyroxine is actually made by different companies that use different active ingredients. So, when pharmacies are buying levothyroxine, what's in those products they're giving you differs on a monthly basis. Synthroid only comes from one company, though, so it's much more consistent. With my complete thyroidectomy, I figured that I was going to be on medication anyways, and I got it removed. The Hashimoto's had formed a goiter, which made it a lot harder to swallow things, so surgery was a good option. My hypothyroidism was unstable for 11 years. My medicine dosage was constantly changing, and up until I was 47 and found my endocrinologist who treated me for my symptoms instead of my blood levels, I was experiencing symptoms at a very high rate. She was great though, and I felt better. I started losing weight and I had way more energy than before. And ever since my thyroidectomy, I've had stable hormone levels with my medication. When asked, over the course of your experience with hypothyroidism, have you ever further researched or been informed about any new potential treatments? If so, which ones were you told about and did you look into and why? She replied with, I have only ever taken levothyroxine and Synthroid, but I've heard from some people that they manage their hypothyroid with Armour Thyroid. It has something to do with a pig? There's also Tyrosint and Levoxyl, which are basically the same as levothyroxine. I never took them, but I did hear from someone I know that Tyrosint works for them. From someone with first-hand experience, I was able to find out that levothyroxine is actually produced by different companies, and that the medication one receives can have different results based on the different active ingredients being used. I was honestly surprised to hear this, especially considering how my own endocrinologist never alerted me about this sort of thing, and why the symptoms of my hypothyroidism seemed better during some months and worse during others. Knowing all that I did now, I thought about what this meant and how I could move forward in proposing a new potential solution. All of a sudden, it hit me. With a budget of $100 million, I would like to propose that we research and even begin implementing the practice of RNAi to help us hack our own bodies and use them to naturally fight against hypothyroidism. RNA interference is a relatively new technique that is currently being utilized to produce COVID-19 vaccines and is being tested as a potential treatment for many other ailments. How it works is that our ribosomes receive messages from DNA in order to make proteins, the building blocks of life. When an extra gene that appears to have a different chemical structure or shape from what is considered normal is added into one of these messages, RNAi comes in to stop the production of and destroy anything that looks like said protein. This is our natural defense system against viral infections, and scientists have begun to research new techniques to use it to our advantage. So, why can't we do the exact same thing with our thyroid antibodies? This solution has the potential to completely wipe out synthetic hormone treatments because it would fix the production of our natural hormones rather than supplementing those suffering from hypothyroidism with new man-made ones. That way, there's not as high of a possibility of human error as there is with medication or even a thyroidectomy because the patient is able to rely on their own bodily functions and can properly maintain homeostasis without any outside help once more. This should also mean that the symptoms of hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's disease would be seriously diminished and would differ from other current treatments in that regard. Ideally, this process would only need to be done once in order to work, since the false signals for the production of thyroid antibodies should be detected immediately, resulting in little to no production of thyroglobin and thyroid peroxidase. At most, a patient may need to come in a few times in order for the procedure to fully work, but it most likely would not be a lifelong treatment such as levothyroxine. In conclusion, just because something has an easy solution that seemingly works well doesn't mean it can't ever be improved upon. Every day, our medical knowledge and technology is getting better and better, and we should aim to apply that to all aspects of the field, even those we thought we had already covered. If we never try to work on and improve practices that we already think work well enough, then we'll never know for sure whether or not it could be an easier, more effective, and more accessible option to those who need it. It's also possible that it could open up the gateway to developing solutions for much more difficult afflictions, such as cancer or AIDS. Regardless, the technology is too useful to ignore, and I sincerely hope we're able to utilize this technique to its fullest potential.